Hello and welcome to the fourth lecture of Life Processes in Living Organisms Part 2. In the last lecture, we studied about asexual reproduction in multicellular organisms. In this lecture, we are going to study the sexual reproduction, the second type of reproduction. The definition of sexual reproduction: the production of offsprings from the diploid zygote formed by the fusion of two haploid gametes. We know that the main difference in asexual and sexual reproduction, it is that in asexual reproduction only one parent is involved, no fusion of gametes, but in sexual reproduction two parents are involved and there is a fusion of two haploid gametes takes place. Then see, the out of fusing two gametes, the male gamete it is called sperm and the female gamete it is called the egg cell or ovum. The two different gametes from different parents comes. The gamete which come from male parent it is called the sperm and the gamete which come from the female parent it is called the ovum, and there is a fusion of the male and female gamete takes place. This is called the sexual reproduction. See, this sexual reproduction, it involves two main steps. That is, one is a gamete formation and second one, it is a fertilization. We discuss in the life processes in living organism part first, this meiosis and mitosis. We know that this meiosis and mitosis in detail in that chapter. We know this meiosis it takes place in the germ cells. That means the gamete formation takes place with the help of meiosis. So the haploid gamete that are produced. So this is the first step. The gamete formation, it is very necessary for the sexual reproduction. And in the second step, it is a fertilization. In the fertilization, the union of haploid male gamete and haploid female gamete takes place and there is the formation of diploid zygote. Let us see in detail. Before that, what is the importance of sexual reproduction? We know that the sexual reproduction, two parents are involved. One is a male and other is a female. So, one gamete coming from male and one gamete coming from female and there is a fusion. Because of that, some characters that coming the newly produced individual, it shows the similarities with the parents for some characters and it shows some different characters than the characters present in the both the parents. So, see the importance of this sexual reproduction. It is genetic variations takes place. As one gamete coming from male and one gamete coming from female, both the parents are involved, so that newly produced organism, it shows the different characters than the parents. So, we can observe the genetic variations is there. Because of that, we observe the variety of individuals. Next one, that is diversity in living organism. As the genetic variations is there, the diversity in the living organisms is there. We see the different types of organisms belonging to the same species and also there is a diversity in the living organism because of the sexual reproduction. And maintain the species and existence of the organism. The genetic variations takes place in the living organisms because of the sexual reproduction, and so that these genetic variations helps the organism to adjust with the changing environment and so that they maintain their existence, they maintain their number in the species. So these are the importance of sexual reproduction. If there is a question to write down the importance of sexual reproduction, it may be for 2 marks, maybe for 3 marks, you can write down these points. Then see, the sexual reproduction in plants. First of all, we are going to study the sexual reproduction in plants, how it takes place. We know that in the plant, the flower is the reproductive part. That means the flower, it contains the main organs that are necessary for the sexual reproduction. See, this is the diagram of the flower. It shows the different parts of flower. It is given in the textbook. We know that there are different types of whorls are present in the flower. The calyx. See, this is the calyx. Then corolla. Then this is the androecium. These are the androecium, and this is the gynoecium. These are the different whorls that are present in the flower, and it is a reproductive structure. Then see, one by one, the parts of flower. We know that some flower, they have the stalk. So these flowers, these are called the pedicellate flower. See, this is the stalk. The flower which bears the stalk, these are called the pedicellate flower, and the flowers which do not bear the stalk, that are called sessile flowers. See, the four whorls. Again, in this diagram also the four whorls are given. See, these are the sepals. They unite together to form the calyx. These are the petals. They unite together to form the corolla. These are the different anthers, and this is the structure of gynoecium. So, calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Let us see the different parts of flower once again. In this case, the calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. These are the different whorls of flowers, and these are arranged sequentially. Out of that, this calyx and corolla, these are present outer side. These are called accessory whorl. These are protective in nature. They protect the inner whorls, that is androecium and gynoecium. These androecium and gynoecium, these are the inner whorls. These are called essential whorls because these are directly take part in the sexual reproduction. So these are the essential whorls of the flower. Some flowers, these are bisexual one. For example, the hibiscus, the flower in which the androecium and gynoecium both are present on the same flower, that flowers are called bisexual flowers. And the example is hibiscus flower. Then in this hibiscus flower, the androecium, that is male gamete producing organ, and the gynoecium, that is female gamete producing organ. These some flowers are unisexual flower. For example, the papaya. In some papaya plant, the flower bears only androecium, that are called male papaya plant, and in some papaya plant, the flower bears only the gynoecium, and that are called the female papaya plant. So such plants or such flowers are called unisexual flowers. Means only one gamete producing organ is there, either androecium or gynoecium. So such type of flowers are called unisexual flowers. Then see, some flowers are pedicellate flower. We discussed it earlier. That is, those contains the stalk are called pedicellate flower. Rose, hibiscus, these are the pedicellate one. And the flowers which do not bear the stalk are called sessile flowers. Example is a lily or the portulaca plant. They do not bear the stalk. So these are called the sessile flowers. Then see, the reproductive whorl which are present in the plant, that is androecium and the gynoecium. The members of androecium that are called stamens, and the stamen that bears the filament and anther. The elongated portion, that is called filament, and at the tip of filament the sac-like structure is present, that is called anther. And the gynoecium, the second reproductive whorl, and the different members of gynoecium that are called carpels, they unite together to give the gynoecium. And the different parts of the gynoecium, that is style, stigma and ovary. The elongated portion, that is called style. Then at the tip of the style, the stigma is there, and at the basal portion, that is the ovary. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe it, and press the bell icon to get the notifications of next video. Thank you.